Hey, Futurist, Jim Carroll from the virtual home broadcast studio. Sometimes we just have to try to interpret what is going on in the world. And as a futurist, that's long been my job and responsibility. Look, I've been on stage for 25 years and I cover everything going on in every single industry. And a lot of the audience have always asked me to interpret, well, what is going to happen in terms of globalization, what's going on with particular countries, what are the trends which are taking us forward in the future. And one of my guiding rules always on stage was I would never talk about politics. And about a week ago, I put out a tweet that, look, I'm just not going to talk about politics for the next 6 weeks. There's no upside. But you cannot separate politics from what is going on, obviously, with the global economy, because we are living through an absolutely fascinating period of time with a lot of really interesting trends unfolding right now. So the only way I really tried to address politics on stage in the past was by using this particular slide. Look, we're all in this reality TV show, and we don't know what the heck is going to happen next. But I keep my eyes carefully peeled for some signs that align to some of the things that I've been talking about in the past. And what really grabbed my attention this week in the context of a post that I wrote in 2017 was a particular news article that came out. But first, the post. What I wrote in 2017, you can go and find this blog post, what comes next with the decline of an empire. And what I was trying to do was diplomatically gather together my thoughts of what was going to unfold from a very real trends perspective as we witnessed very significant change occurring with the U.S. as they increasingly began to turn their back against the world. And we've certainly seen that with immigration bans, the withdrawal from the World Health Organization. I'd encourage you to go read this post because a lot of what I predicted actually came about. And this has really far-reaching implications on growth, on the future, on trends. So what really caught my attention this week was the announcement by 8 major global pharmaceutical companies that, look, they were going to do everything to make sure that any vaccine that came to market was going to follow the protocols of science, that it was going to be safe, that it was going to be properly tested, and that nothing would rush it. 2020, and they actually have to say this, we're now at the point where we're actually possibly messing with the fundamentals of science that has guided us forward. And I think the fact that global multinational CEOs have had to come out and publicly say this indicates there is a very real trend going on. I'd encourage you to go look at my blog post and specifically points number 9 and 10. What I said was, likely to happen in the future is that new multinationals would become the corporate model. It was a nice polite way of me saying that, look, and what we were witnessing with the decline of an empire is probably the decline of the supremacy of the U.S. as a global corporate headquarters. And I think the fact that you get a bunch of global CEOs of pharmaceutical companies coming out and making such a bizarre statement in such a bizarre time indicates that there's a lot of thinking going on in a lot of senior levels of a lot of organizations. And look, these organizations are my clients. I've spent time with CEOs and leadership teams of massive multinational, global Fortune 500 organizations. I know what these people are talking about. I know what they think. I know what they're worried about. And take a look at number 10, political discourse matures elsewhere. I think what we are now witnessing is the coming together of the thinking that, look, things are getting a little bit too crazy, and if we're going to go forward, we've got to start doing some things which is going to really plant our future and our opportunity on a solid ground. So look, I try not to talk about politics. I do try to talk about trends. I do try to cover what is going to come next. And I think there are profound trends and changes underway when it comes to nations, when it comes to who is going to be the supreme nation going forward in the future. What are the big global multinational trends? Where are they going to relocate? Where are they actually going to locate? What decisions are being made at the CEO level right now that are going to play out over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? And what does that imply in terms of particular growth of particular economies for particular countries around the world? You need to be thinking about that because this is very real stuff. We have massive geopolitical trends unfolding right now. And I've been working to make sense of this for my clients. If you haven't done so already, I'd go and encourage you to look at a particular webpage, Our World in 2030, the post-pandemic trends that will redefine our future. And what I've done is I've put together topics, thoughts, insight on where we're going. How are things going to unfold as a result of what is going on with COVID-19? What can we expect in terms of economies? What can we expect in terms of trends? What can we expect in terms of industries? There's a whole series of blog posts with video filmed in the virtual home broadcast studio here, where I'm talking about the various issues which are unfolding and how our future is going to change. If you're not thinking about the future right now, you need to be. You've been in crisis mode. You've been dealing with the reality of what is occurring. You've been managing the complexities of your industry as it is in an absolutely fascinating and bizarre period of time. But you really need to be thinking about what comes next and what you need to do about it. So give it a look. You might find some interesting stuff there. And think about what it means when you get 8 CEOs of global pharmaceutical companies coming out and making a statement that, look, they're going to do everything they can to ensure the integrity of the work that they've been doing for the last 40, 50, 80, 100 years. Because we live in absolutely fascinating and strange times. I won't talk about politics. I will talk about how the global economy is unfolding. And we truly are living through extraordinary times. That's it for now. Futurist.